when Dunnville Community Theatre needed insurance, including director's insurance. Peter Dielman and Associates were there to help us. Peter's team provided fast, friendly, and very informative assistance. We are happy to receive their proud sponsorship of this episode of Postcards from DCT. If you have insurance, investment, or financial advisory needs, give the Cooperators a call at 905-774-7576. The Cooperators have locations in both Caledonia and Dunnville. Check out their website at Peter Dielman and Associates Inc. The Cooperators, cooperators.ca.
Hi, and welcome back to Postcards from DCT. In this episode of Close to the Curtain, we'll be talking about producers, who they are, what they do, can you get them to bake more cookies? And speaking of plays, Ellie will be talking about Aristotle in her Dramatic Moments segment. Enjoy!
Advertising sales going?
Well, look, you know, it's not great. I'm not really a people person, you know that. Wanda and Janice are so much better at this than I am.
Well, who have you tried?
Well, I did go to our insurance broker to see if they'd like to sponsor an episode. That really didn't go very well. As soon as I stepped through their door, I tripped on their carpet runner and I fell flat on my face. I hurt my arm really quite badly.
You couldn't make a pity sale out of that one?
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you? But no, I had to lecture them, and then I threatened them with a lawsuit.
So I guess they don't want to sponsor the people suing them, right?
No, they do not. And in fact, they may not actually want to insure us anymore.
Way to go. All right, places, everyone.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This episode of Close to the Curtain is about producers. If you'd like to know more about producers after this episode, I highly recommend watching the movie The Producers, starring Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. You really won't learn much about producers, but you will get a delightful little earworm from their musical number called Springtime for Hitler in Germany. To get serious now. A producer at DCT is not only the business manager of the show, he or she is also the director's right hand. Together, they'll make a production plan, they'll lay out a reasonable budget, and they will prepare an advertising campaign.
A good producer is the difference between a successful production and a good show that loses money. Being a producer requires organizational talent and people skills. It can be a very rewarding job. Producers typically have volunteers to help with the many functions that are entailed in doing the job well.
The producer coordinates with any outside vendors and advertisers, manages ticket sales, and approves the final program details. The producer is also responsible for press releases, advertising campaigns, working with the webmaster, and managing social media updates.
The producer will organize, prioritize, and manage the budget. They will record and account for all expenditures, even if it means hounding the rest of the cast and crew. They will also manage the production schedule, making sure that everyone who needs to know will know what they need to know when they need to know it.
They will remain current on all developments, attend rehearsals at regular intervals, and have informational meetings with the director. The producer does the final wrap-up of the project and creates a production report, which they issue at a post-production meeting. The production report helps the group understand what went right and what we could improve. Now, here's Jean Furlong and Maureen Jones to tell us more about producing a show.
First, I would like to thank the Trillium Foundation for this opportunity. My job as a producer lasted over 25 years with the Dunnville Community Theatre. And to begin, I want to say that everything about producing is a team effort. It's a culmination of everybody coming together for one common cause, and that's to bring life to a script. Live theater can bring magic to a community. Actors emerge, sets get built, props, everything comes together to get what you have on stage. And there's behind the scenes stuff, and that's what a producer does. Producers organize people, they plan people, and they make a budget. But first of all, we have to pick a play. And picking a play means that a group of members of the theater get together, they read several plays or they've seen plays, and they make suggestions. Those plays have to fall within the budget that the theater has and the capabilities of the casts that we know we can draw from, the people we can draw from. And as well, how do they construct a set? Because sometimes small theaters are on 10 by 12 foot sets, so you're not, and if you can't swing someone through the air, obviously you're not going to put on Peter Pan. So it takes approximately 80 to 90 hours of stage time to put on one play, and 120 hours if you're going to do a musical. All that time has to be broken down into 2 or 3 hour segments, because everyone who's involved in community theater has jobs or go to school or do whatever they do outside of the hobby of the community theater. When the play has been selected, then you must pass that over to the director, and it's his or her job to get that play, the vision, into place, and people then work towards learning their lines and getting on stage. Behind the scenes, we have to have a set director or a set designer. That's someone with a hammer who can build a set. It's not like building a house. It's a lightweight thing that has to be able to come down and go up quite quickly. As well, there are costume designers, and that person may just draw from whatever everyone has in their closet, or maybe an elaborate design that they have to build, like a huge dress or whatever. Or in the worst case scenario, that we have to rent something. But normally people draw from their closets or from what we already have in the theater. There's sound and lighting technical people that have to be involved, and those people come into play a little later as the action moves along and the rehearsals have moved along. They have to be able to read the script and design the lighting so that the lights come on in the right spot and the sound comes on exactly when you need it. You don't want a thunderstorm when the sun is shining. Most community theaters depend upon vendors in the community to help support their programs. So you need someone who's able to sell the ads in the programs, develop the program, and get it printed. This is a big job, an important job, but we have often found that most community vendors are very supportive of community theater. It brings other business to town. People travel long distance to come and see live theater in Dunnville. As rehearsals have rolled along, there are several items that must happen, like costumes, props, everything must be at the theater. The stage must be built so that the actors are now in a position that they're able to work the rehearsals on the stage. Prior to that, they've been in their basements, they've been somewhere else, or just on a bare stage with tape on the floor and maybe a few chairs. But 2 weeks prior, they need to have learned their lines, they need to be ready to go. Timing is everything. Sound, lighting, programs, you name it. That all has to be ready. And as I said before, it takes a team. And a good producer has an excellent team. And Dunnville has had wonderful teams. The stage manager is someone that the producer works very closely with, as does the director, because the stage manager has to cue everyone. Not necessarily with lines, but just to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time and their costumes are lined up and everything is ready so that when someone goes off stage, they know exactly where to go and how to get back on stage at the right time. So those are all jobs. After all that excitement and after we put on the play, then it's the producer's job to get everybody together and kind of talk about what went right and what didn't work so well. And then luckily we get to start all over again and pick another play. That's producing.
I'm proud to say that I was one of the founding members of the Dumbville Community Theatre back in the 1970s, if you can believe it. And the very first play I think that we put on was Harvey. And in those days, we were still doing it at the Dumbville High School in the Queen Elizabeth Hall. And I was the director, and I think I had 7 people helping me. There was actually no real person by the name of a producer, but we had a stage manager, we had props, we had publicity, we had tickets, we had sound, we had lighting. We had them all, but I guess I was the producer as the director as well. Anyway, we had a lovely time doing that. We had a fantastic group of people and directed. If I recall right, there were even 2, 3 set changes, and all of that done on that stage of the Queen Elizabeth Hall back in the 1970s. So we have come a long way since then, and it's been an amazing experience.
Producing sounds like more work than I want to do. Now, on a completely unrelated topic, prepared to be educated with.
Most people who know about Abraham Lincoln know that his assassination took place in a theater, Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. to be exact, on April 14th, 1865. Lincoln and his wife were there to see a production of the comedy Our American Cousin, a farce about a boorish American who travels to England for an inheritance. It's reported that Lincoln's hearty laughter showed he was enjoying the show. Did you know that John Wilkes Booth, the man who shot him, was a renowned actor from a family of actors? In fact, John Wilkes Booth is reputedly the first actor ever to have fans rip pieces of his clothing off when he exited the stage door. He wasn't in the cast, but he was very familiar with the play and allegedly timed his attack so that his shot would be muffled by the expected burst of audience laughter. But when he leapt to the stage after shooting Lincoln in the head and shouted, "Sic temper tyrannis," before making his escape, many in the audience easily identified him. It would have been like Brad Pitt or George Clooney shooting George W. Bush. This has been Ellie B. of the DCT, bringing you another dramatic moment.
So, did you ever use the clapperboard to make sure that you know exactly what take it is, but you don't read the clapperboard out loud so that when you go back and listen to separate recorder audio only, you have no idea what take it is or what it's even about? Yeah. Oops.
Shut up, Charles!